Voila! Welcome back to MrBettsClass Global Final Review. Last time we went over the Earth and maps and social scientists, and you remember everything, right? Well, if you're prepared for class, let us proceed with ancient civilizations. But before that, we need to look at what predated civilizations and how history itself is classified. See, there's prehistory and then there's history. Prehistory is considered before the invention of writing systems, usually around 3000 BC. Speaking of BC, BC and AD is the most commonly used system to tell time. Now, time is a relative concept, and what year it is depends on what year we agree it to be. In the BC and AD system, the turnover point is the birth of Christ. Everything before is BC and after is AD. You may see the neutral BCE and CE, but it works the same way. Now, most of human history occurred in what we call the Paleolithic or Old Stone Age. Early Homo sapiens, aka us, showed up on the scene around 200,000 years ago, and we had stone tools and early art and nomadic lifestyles. Nomads are people that move with the food supply and scrounge up whatever food they can find. Basically, I eat deer, deer go that way, I go that way. And just like how a Walking Dead episode only gets good in the last 5 minutes, in the last 11,000 years, things began to change in what we call the Neolithic Revolution. Man discovered agriculture or farming and how to domesticate or raise animals. And this didn't happen overnight. For millenniums, nomads were still around with small nomadic groups existing today. But flash forward to around 3000 BC in which we find the first civilization. Now, what usually constitutes a civilization is open to debate, but the following are traits that you'll pretty much find in all of them. There's a city of some sort, now made possible by a steady food supply. To organize, there's some sort of government. For the sake of efficiency, you'll see job specialization, and this often leads to social classes, which divide people by profession or wealth, sex, race, whatever justification is used. Some sort of religion is present, providing faith, explaining authority, backing social systems. Art and architecture have a variety of purposes, and public works like roads and irrigation systems provide for the population, and of course a writing system will be in use. Most of these early civilizations popped up around river valleys because rivers are awesome. They provide transportation and fresh drinking water, and more importantly, fertile soil, which allowed people to plant crops and thus start civilizations like the Egyptians in the Nile River in northeast Africa, famous for their hieroglyphics and giant pyramids built during the period known as the Old Kingdom. In the Fertile Crescent was Mesopotamia, or land between two rivers, the two being the Tigris and the Euphrates, host to a myriad of societies, many that used cuneiform writing. The well-planned Harappan civilization of India was around the Indus River and had to deal with seasonal winds called monsoons, just as people in the region must do today. And early Chinese societies developed around the Yangtze and Yangtze River. Features such as mountains and deserts often led to isolation and at times ethnocentrism in China, but they're hardly the only ones to dabble in a little ethnocentrism. While these societies were very different, they also had similar traits. They were polytheistic, believing in many gods. They also had traditional economies. If they had to buy anything, it was through the barter system, exchanging goods since money wasn't a thing. And that's if they had anything extra. Most people engaged in subsistence agriculture, meaning they only grew just enough to get by. And take a look at your parents. Back then, whatever their job was, would probably be yours. I'd hope my dad was an astronaut. So that's mankind's humblest beginnings. In episode 3, we'll cover classical civilizations. Be safe, and I'll see you next time.